Welcome back for another episode of A Woman's Strength, Empowering Stories from Struggle to Triumph. This podcast is to provide women a platform to share their stories of struggles and self-doubt and how they were victorious in the end. Ladies, sharing our stories is twofold. It gives women strength and hope to carry on. And it reminds us how far we have come from that pain that we had to deal with. So I just want to put that out there so you know how important your story is. My name is Rosita Perez. I am your host, self-discovery coach, and realtor. I get to help people find their way home, whether home is a physical home or if home is connecting with the core of who you are. I'm excited today because I have with me my guest, Vanessa Coburn. She is a women's confidence coach, and she's going to share her story about what she's been through and how she got out of it. So I'm going to bring Vanessa on stage here. Give me a second. Welcome, Vanessa. Thank you so much for being here and being vulnerable to share your story.
Well, thank you, Rosita, for inviting me to be here with your audience. What a pleasure and a joy it gives me to just share this space with you.
Thank you. Vanessa, your story is important, like I just mentioned, and I'd like to hear why you feel like it's important to share on this platform.
Well, I think sharing my story, not only because it matters to me, but because it can encourage someone out there. Somebody can learn from my story because we might be sharing the same journey. And what I have to share with them can help them find peace and to find joy and to find their way to their happiness, to their own journey. And it can inspire them to take action.
Oh, I love that, Vanessa, because don't we get stuck in self-doubt? We just get so stuck that we don't think there's a way out and that we are the only ones going through it.
Yes, so true.
Yeah, I love that. And I love your passion.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about a time when you faced a significant struggle in your life. If you can share what the struggle was and what the circumstance was.
One time in my life that I shared a struggle started very early on when I was raised by two beautiful, wonderful people. I love my parents, and they had a codependent relationship. My father was an alcoholic, and my mother's life revolved around my father's drinking. So at an early age, I was enlisted to help my father stop drinking. I was 7 years old, 7, 8, when I started having this responsibility of thinking that my father's sobriety was my responsibility. So this kind of led me into a life where I thought that everybody's problems was my responsibility. I was in charge of fixing everybody's problems, and I kind of forgot about myself, and I put my wants and my needs aside. So this is how I grew up, and I was 32, and I was still doing it, fixing everybody's problems and forgetting about myself. So I struggled through that most of my life.
So Vanessa, let me just acknowledge, first of all, that 7 years old. So looking back at somebody who's 7 years old going through that, that's a lot of responsibility that you took on early in life.
Yes. Yep.
So what internal battles did you struggle with? You know, like the self-doubt, limiting beliefs. What kind of internal battles did you deal with?
Well, the battle that I struggled with was thinking that my needs and my wants were not important. That everybody else came before me. I struggled because I put my needs to the bottom of my list, and I prioritized everybody else's needs, and then I forgot about me. And as far as my voice was concerned, I couldn't voice what I wanted. I didn't even know sometimes, most of the times, what I wanted. What are my dreams? What are my visions in life? Because everything revolved around other people. So I started also stuffing my feelings, pretending that I was okay, smiling on the outside. And people would ask me, how are you? And I would say, oh, I'm fine. fine. But inside, nobody knew what was happening. So I kind of felt disconnected from my truth and from myself. I felt a little disconnection there. And I just told people whatever they wanted to hear, what I felt they wanted to hear. And I did whatever they wanted, or, with my time, with my energy, with my money, always giving, 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 but never receiving. So, this sense that my needs and my wants are not important and that my voice is not important. That's a limiting belief that I grew up for many, many years of my life.
I'm glad that you pointed that out, that was your limiting belief, and that women in midlife, most of us grew up with that same limiting belief, right? I don't know if you find that, but every time I talk to a woman, wait, there's a common thread between us all. And I just want to say that caring for somebody else and putting their needs first in itself is not a bad thing. I think that where we start having that limiting belief is when we don't nurture and care for ourselves.
And I learned that later on in life, that it is okay to take care of others, like you said, but I have to start by taking care of myself and my needs and fill my cup so that I can give from the overflow and, always fill it. I have to take care of myself so that I can willingly and joyfully, from a place of joy and service and, give, but not from a place of thinking that I need to give or that I am less, or what are people going to think about me if I don't do this for them, or are people going to accept me? Are they going to like me? No. If I love myself and I am happy with who I am, and I can give to anybody that I want by choice, not by thinking that I have to do it. So that is a big difference. I can take care of others as long as I'm taking care of myself first.
I love that, because when we fill ourselves up with love and take care of ourselves, we can authentically give to another person from a place of joy, like you said, a place of love. But when we don't, that well is going to be empty soon. And then we give from resentment. Like I know I'm guilty of this, where when I was in that space where I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. It's with an attitude. Another way is we put a mask on, right? Like you were saying earlier, you put a mask on, you be who people want you to be, and you smile, but that's not being authentic or serving ourselves doing that. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Now, can you name one specific action that you took to start to overcome these battles?
Well, one action that I took was to realize and to admit to myself that I have been doing it for by myself for most of my life. I had nobody to ask for help because I thought I could do it by myself. I could fix myself. And actually, I needed somebody. I needed help. So an action that I took was to reach out and to become vulnerable and to become authentic and realize and admit to another human being that I needed help, and to look for guidance and find a mentor that was able to, help me and guide me, and through my will to change and this guidance that I received, I was able to, transform my life and become happy and come back to myself and become a whole person and change the limiting beliefs. So one action that I took was actually to be honest with myself, realize that I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own, and to ask for help. Find somebody who cared enough, who saw me for who I was, and who could guide me, because that person had also been through a journey similar to mine. So I knew that I could trust this person. And that's what happened. The action was to find somebody that I could trust.
I love that. I think that's so important, to find help or be vulnerable, like you mentioned. Tell me, what was that breaking point? What was that point where you finally said, okay, no, I'm going to have to find some help. I need to make some changes in me and commit to me? Because that's one of the biggest things when you're coaching with a coach. You got to be committed to it. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. So what was the one thing where you said, okay, that's enough?
Well, one little funny story, it comes to mind. I was always taking care of everybody. I was always saying yes to this one and yes to that one. And because I said yes to everybody, I said no to me. I would have like 3 birthday parties in one day because I couldn't say no. So I was running, I would get ready and go to this birthday party and rush out and go to the second birthday party and be there thinking I have to get out of the. So I would go in all these places. And one story that I remember, I was so exhausted all the time, emotionally and physically. And I would just take on anybody's problems. Like I used to visit this person who used to do my nails. And she happened to mention one time, oh, my son, my only son, he's lonely and I wish I could buy him a puppy, but I don't have the money. And I was a little afraid of dogs because my mom kind of taught us to be afraid of dogs because they bite you and they give rabies and this and that. So next thing I know, the lady hadn't even finished speaking when I find myself driving her to a shelter, a pet facility. And she's there and we go and I take out my credit card and I pay $300. And then she finds her pet. We put the pet in the back of my car and I drive her back. And all of a sudden, I'm afraid of dogs. I'm not even thinking about me. It's like everybody's needs came first. So I said, that's it. How much longer am I going to continue doing this to myself? So I said, that's it. I have to do something. That's one of the stories where it's like, okay, that's enough. I was emotionally and physically exhausted. So I needed to find somebody and something, to help. That was just an example of the things that I would do. And because I didn't stop to realize, is this my problem? Do I have to offer help? Do I want to offer help? So because I was so emotionally and physically drained, that's when I said, okay, I have to do something. That was it. I have to find a solution.
Thank you for sharing that. That's one thing you did to break through, right? You broke that seal. And so you start living a different life. So what did you do to maintain, to continue on investing in yourself?
Well, the first thing that I did was to connect with my desires. Once I got this mentor, I started reading books and I started attending live seminars and I started changing my limiting beliefs and I started connecting with my desires. And one of my desires was to move out of my parents' home because I was 32 and I was living at home with my parents. And all of my friends are married, they have children, and there I am living with my parents. So once I started this journey, I started connecting with my desires, and this desire to find a place and make it my own came to me. So 4 months later, after I started working on me, I bought a home. I bought my own place, a 2.5 condo overlooking a lake, and I moved out. And then I started making time for me and investing in myself and, taking classes, like I said, and going to seminars. And eventually I did become a life coach because I wanted to help women who were going through the struggles that I was going through. Because I found my confidence, I found my voice, I got married, happily married for 17 years. So I have a full life. I have friends, I have my family. I have a life full of happiness and joy. And I want to share that with others because that's when I invested in me, everything started changing. My relationships got better with myself and with other people.
And I love how you talked about how you broke the seal and broke through and learned to invest in you. And then you continued your commitment to yourself by going to seminars, by reading up on self-doubt or limiting beliefs. And then again, I think you said you had a coach as well or a mentor.
A mentor, yes.
Yeah. Vanessa, we have some women watching. And I'm sure they're thinking, oh God, where do I get started? Or how do I even do this? I'm too scared. I'm comfortable where I am at, even though I'm not happy. what advice would you give to that woman who may be struggling?
I would have advised them to ask themselves, what is the cost that you are paying in your life, in your relationships, by staying where you are right now in a place of unhappiness? What cost? How much is that costing you? Emotionally, physically, financially? And are you willing to let comfort keep you stuck in a place where you're not happy? And the best investment you can do is in yourself. I wouldn't be where I am today if I had not invested in me. I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't have relationships. I wouldn't have a husband. I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't have a voice if I had not invested in me. So the best advice that I can give them is to just take a chance, take a baby step and start somewhere and find somebody that you can trust, that somebody that has a journey that is similar to yours, and that they can help you to get clear on what it is that you want and how to get there. And you're going to get there faster if you have somebody holding your hand, somebody who's walked the walk and talked the talk. And life is going to be so much better on the other side of the struggle. If I can do it, so can you. So just find somebody. Go. Don't be afraid anymore. Just give yourself permission to try something differently and see how your life will turn out to be.
Oh, Vanessa, we are coming to the end, and I just loved everything about your story. I thank you for being vulnerable, and I want our ladies to know, where are you now?
Well, now I am, like I said, I am coaching. I am supporting women, knowing what they want in their relationships, and then asking for it. And then I support them to get clear, find their voice, and get the courage to voice that. So I have my own coaching business, Vanessa Coburn Coaching, and you can find me on www.vanessacoburn.com. And I am just, making a difference in women's life. I am so excited, so honored to be working with women who have the courage to put themselves first and who want to change and who want to be happy. And I am seeing it in the transformations in my clients, and that brings me joy. So this is where I am. I am serving them, and I am, excited and happy in my life right now.
So, Vanessa, I attended one of your workshops, and it was just amazing. And I'm wondering, are you going to have another workshop coming up soon?
Yes, ma'am. I am having it. It's on a Wednesday, March 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's called 3 Keys to Confident Communication for Caring Women. And I would love to, we're going to be having conversations, and we're going to be sharing some useful tips to improve your communication, to become more confident, and to improve your relationships, which is what we want.
I really encourage every woman who is listening, or hopefully you watch this before the conference happens, I would encourage you to attend. Vanessa is amazing. She has a true passion and a heart for helping women because she's been through it, like she said. Once you go through it, you are more apt and qualified to help somebody else out because you know what they've had to go through.
Yep.
Vanessa, thank you so much. Before we close, I want to invite everybody to go to my website, movingforwardforlife.com, and schedule your complimentary clarity call. And take time for you. This is that baby step that Vanessa was talking about. This 30 minutes is all about you, all for you. And it's a safe place to speak your piece with no judgment. Where can you get a time for yourself just like that? Vanessa and I want to let you know you are not alone, and you have the power to choose the trajectory of your life. You have that powerful choice. So take a step forward and invest in you. Vanessa, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate everything you're doing. I will have her contact information and the link to the workshop and the website in the comments below. Till next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.